today. And speaking of which, Sid Salter is with us, political analyst and communications officer, director of Office of Public Affairs at MSU. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Paul. Very well.
Let's talk about the game first of all. Then we'll get into a little bit of the legislature after hearing from the Speaker Pro Tem Jason White a few moments ago. But your analysis and looking back on the game now, and also on Mike Leach and just the way that homage was paid to the guy, not only during the Mississippi State game, but through the entire football world and specifically the SEC. Your thoughts, Sid?
Mike Leach was a real force of nature, not just in coaching, but in the community here on our campus. And this was not something that the university had factored into any equation. We were stunned by it on Sunday when Mike suffered this attack, and it was a very sad and difficult transition. His family, his friends, the staff, the players, and the coaching tree that he started over his career, the reaction was fantastic. One thing that I've heard a lot of discussion about among Mississippi State folks and among our friends in Oxford, this was an instance where the rivalry was set aside. We were very grateful for what Ole Miss did in their bowl game to honor Coach Leach, the rest of the Southeastern Conference, a lot of the programs around the country. It was very heartwarming, very inspiring. Mike Leach's final gift to Mississippi State was 10, 12 days of discussion of his coaching career and the Mississippi State portion of that, of the things he was able to accomplish here. And I do think that Coach Leach and Coach Kiffin made some progress in framing the rivalry in a healthier way. And so, everybody, and I think here's what's important. Dr. Keenum entrusted the operations of the athletic department to Bracky Brett, who is a super guy. He's led our NCAA compliance efforts for a number of years, but Bracky, a solid administrator. But almost everyone from the athletic director on down was doing a different job in Tampa than they were doing a month ago. Players, assistant coaches, everybody. And so very proud of the outcome. It was a back and forth defensive struggle. But in the fourth quarter, the Bulldogs rose up and did what they intended, and that was to honor Coach Leach with a victory in the ReliaQuest Bowl. We won the game 19-10. 13th year in a row that Mississippi State's been in a bowl game, which is a source of pride to us. But yeah, a great weekend in Tampa, and now back on campus and back to business.
Rivalry is good, but for some of us old-timers who have experience with things like a Jackie Sherrill, Billy Brewer type of environment, then you come back and you really appreciate this one in a different manner. I do want to say this, though. It's almost, you understand coincidences, but to be playing in a stadium where there's a pirate ship, come on. I mean, there's just a limit on what you can say are coincidences.
Well, there is. And, of course, the ReliaQuest Bowl was just tremendous to work with. They do have that pirate ship up above the north end zone in the stadium, and they did a very nice tribute to Mike, large photo and beautiful white roses. And, of course, throughout the stadium, the Buccaneer symbolism was sort of adulterated a bit to reflect the pirate, the logos and everything, and it was a tremendous day. Our band, sort of famously, the famous Maroon Band spells out STATE every ball game. This time we did that, but we also flipped it and spelled out LEACH, and the crowd appreciated that on both sides. Illinois had the Mike Leach sticker on their helmets. It was, and of course, Brett Bielema, the head coach at Illinois, who had been an SEC coach, very deferential to the team and to Zach Arnett, our new head coach, during the process. So, yeah, it was kind of, a perfect tribute to Mike, and the game was quirky enough that even that was was something Mike would have appreciated.
The social media platforms, we were speaking with Sid Salter, said they can, in the sports, they can be brutal, vicious. But I mean, I haven't seen a lot of that. Everybody seems to be on the same accord. I say everybody. The vast majority of people seem to be on the same accord as far as a no-brainer on Coach Zach Arnett. Just go in and put him in there, let him handle it, and seems like a very, very good choice. Your thoughts on that?
Well, if Mississippi State, Dr. Keenum, Bracky Brett, if we had not given Zach Arnett that opportunity, certainly another university would have. He's earned it. He's a player's coach. He carries a lot of intensity. He's young. He's hungry. I don't think we could have made a better choice. And I did have an opportunity to be with him on the field after the game yesterday, along with Dr. Keenum. And, he had a really visible sense of relief, not just for getting his first win as an SEC head coach, but for delivering on the promise to honor Mike Leach. So we look for good things out of Zach Arnett, his family, and we're excited about seeing what next fall will bring.
I think it was a tangible load when you started talking about that. A very visible and tangible load on his shoulders, but not only his, but also on Will. Because you could tell that was carrying some extra weight for him.
Well, certainly, Will Will didn't have his best game, but he rallied. Yeah, and he rallied in the fourth quarter. And the passing got sharper. So yeah, the players can, that same group of players, we watched them file into the Humphrey Coliseum, coaching royalty from all over the country there, and it was a load. They didn't get to say goodbye to their coach, and all of a sudden it's over. And for a lot of them, that was the first significant death that they had to deal with as young men. And so, it was a load on them. It was a load on the coaching staff. It was a load on the athletics department staff that kind of got reshuffled. So it was a terrible couple of weeks to go through here on campus, but we are all very proud of how the institution, how the athletic department, how the football program responded to Mike's passing.